Taurus, I have some very interesting messages for you. Spirit is inviting you to be still. Be still and let the waters settle. You know that when the waters settle, all will be clear. In your stillness, you see the truth. Be still in the midst of chaos. Stillness is your portal to awakening. Now, after I channeled that message and I was starting to move on to other things, tune into other things, out of nowhere, I heard the word portcullis. It was very random, but it was very strong. And I was pretty sure I knew what portcullis was, but I Googled it just to make sure. The definition of portcullis is a strong, heavy grating that can be lowered down grooves on each side of a gateway to block it. So an example of a portcullis would be like the almost like grate kind of door that you could lower in a medieval castle, right? So imagine like a classic medieval castle with the big wooden doors, and then in front of the wooden doors they would lower the portcullis, which is like that grated door. Usually it has like spikes on the bottom, right? It's some kind of grate. And as I tuned into, why is portcullis coming up for Taurus, I heard it's representing protection from that which would sway you from your truth. So Spirit is also guiding you to create a framework of protection. This could be energetic, of course, or physical, literal. Take it as it resonates. Now, in terms of the elemental energies that are coming forward for you, I first of all, I just couldn't I couldn't stop seeing this really dusty rose pink color. I don't know why, but I figured I'd just tell you that. In terms of plant energies, I heard hydrangea, hibiscus, and seaweed. I've never gotten seaweed before for anyone, so I had to look up the spiritual meaning of seaweed. Fascinating stuff. Seaweed is actually related to the unconscious. It grows underwater and suggests that, or is suggestive of what is growing below the surface. It can be a positive symbol of how you have the gift of inspiration that you may not be tapping into. So something below the surface, something in your unconscious is growing, right? In terms of animal energies coming forward for you, I heard horse and reindeer. And then for a crystal, I heard labradorite. Okay, so those are all of my channeled messages. Now I have pulled one oracle card for you already to just set the stage and to represent the main message that you need to hear. And you got festival, represented by this really beautiful image of a circle of standing stones with a fire in the middle and the moon rising in the back. Now, when I look at this, intuitively what is coming to me, what I hear is create sacred space. And I connect that immediately back to portcullis. I almost see these standing stones as an expression of the portcullis. It's creating a boundary, a barrier, right? But it's not completely blocked off. There's space in between the standing stones, just like a portcullis is a grate. It's a barrier, but air can still flow in and out. You can still have conversations through it, So it's related to me. So Spirit is inviting you to create sacred space for yourself where there are clear boundary lines. I don't know. So again, like take it as it resonates, always. But I'm seeing this as a form of you protecting your own energy, creating stronger boundaries, and greater definition. Now, boundaries essentially are just agreements that we have within ourselves, right? So maybe you need to practice having stronger boundaries just in general, energetically. But maybe you're called to physically create a sacred space for yourself, a defined space where you're not blocking people off, but it's like very clear, this is my space. Please respect it. And it's within these stronger boundaries or this greater defined sacred space that you're going to be able to tap into that seaweed, right? Like whatever is growing in your unconscious, your creativity, uh, celebration, a feeling of joy. Not sure. Okay, so all of that said, let's jump into the tarot. What is the primary experience or energy that Taurus is moving through right now? Show me what Taurus is moving through right now. Thank you. That was fast. Ooh, the Emperor. Yeah, the Emperor is all about structure, routines, the divine masculine, creating proper containment for yourself, creating greater definition, containment, so that you can flow, right? The Emperor is protection, definition, strength, boundaries, structure, routine. So I think you're, I don't know, I just keep thinking about that seaweed. It's like, oh, and it just started raining. Yeah, through greater structure and boundaries, you can connect more deeply to that which is, I'm hearing, forming in your unconscious. Okay. So maybe you need to reconsider um, how you structure your day, how you structure your life. And is there a way in which you can invite stronger containment that will allow you more sacred space to connect with your creativity, your intuition, your unconscious, you know, your feminine, because it's through the masculine container that the feminine feels safe enough to flow and express. Anything else? What's Taurus going through right now? What's Taurus going through right now? Huh. Ooh, Ace of Pentacles. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Again, it's like there's this purely intuitively felt potential, greater potential within you under the surface. And it's almost like gardening, right? The analogy of gardening is coming to me. It's like to create a garden that will thrive, you need to have dedicated space for it. You may even need to create some kind of protection for it so that, I mean, if you're growing little baby tomatoes from seed, you actually need to keep them inside for a certain amount of time because they'll die. They can't grow outside immediately. So there's like the protection of growing the seeds inside first, and then you can move them outside. But if it's too stormy or windy, you have to cover them up or take them back inside. And at some point, you have to protect them from animals like rabbits that'll come and eat. So it's like you want to nourish your own potential, your own potential for abundance. And in order to do that, you have to create the right conditions and protect it. Oh, yep. So, whoa, 9 of Cups and the Ace of Cups. So you now have 2 aces. 2 aces. When I look at these aces, I just feel like that's that potential is the seaweed that is starting to like build and build and build under the surface in your unconscious. That's potential energy. Wow. Yeah. I mean, I just keep feeling the same thing. So it's like 9 of Cups is wish fulfillment, pure wish fulfillment, pleasure, pleasure, and joy and happiness and fulfillment, experiencing your cup overflowing. Right. This is all just about you learning how to love yourself on a deeper level and prioritize your own happiness. I think you can feel this growing potential, and it's really lighting you up and inspiring you to do something about it. Okay, let's move into your challenge. What's the primary challenge that Taurus is facing? Oh, 6 of Cups. Clarify the 6 of Cups. Oh, interesting. The Star. There's some kind of connection here between the earth signs and the air signs this week. It's very interesting. I would just invite you to, if you don't know already, maybe check out or find out what your rising sign is, as well as your moon sign, your Venus. I mean, astrology is very complex, right? And maybe check out the readings for your rising or your moon sign as well. Because there's like very curious layers of overlap here, especially between the earth and the air signs. It's like the challenge is the challenge is not to stay in the palace of potentials. I think I've used that term on this channel before. The palace of potentials is a term coined by a woman named Pilar Lesko. She's one of my favorite spiritual teachers. It's basically just like staying in dreamland where everything is possible, but you don't commit to any one thing because you're afraid of commitment, and so you don't manifest anything. It's fun to stay in the palace of potentials where anything and everything is possible, and you can just kind of like flit between all of these potentials. But then you never create anything. In order to create something, you have to commit 100% to it. And in that moment that you commit, all other potentials die. And that's something a lot of people like cannot handle. I'm not saying you can't handle it. I'm just saying what's coming through the Six of Cups and the Star card is like, don't stay in dreamland. That's what I'm hearing. That's very specifically what I'm hearing. Like, don't stay in dreamland where where your dream just stays a dream. Don't let your dream just stay a dream. Don't let your dream just stay a fantasy. Don't get too comfortable, right? In that palace of potentials. You have to commit to taking action and commit to pouring all of your energy into the realization and the materialization of something, right? Interesting. And also through the star card, for some of you there may be like part of the challenge for some of you may be feeling like hopeless about the ability to realize your dreams physically, you know. Maybe you don't believe in yourself, or you just don't feel a strong enough sense of clarity about what you want to do. But there's something about feeling like uninspired or hopeless, you know. That certainly would prevent you, if you do feel that way sometimes, that certainly would prevent you from deepening into the masculine and taking practical action towards realizing your potential, right? It's easy to stay in the feminine where, you know, you're just flowing and you're connected to spirit and you're just in your own little world, right? When the masculine energy, when you step into um, a deeper relationship with masculine energy, like that is the moment of truth. The masculine energy asks you, like, are you actually going to commit to this? Like, what are you going to create in the real world, right? Not just in the palace of potentials. Okay, what's the advice? Let's wrap it up with the advice. No. What does Taurus need to know or do? What does Taurus need to know or do? Oh, the Magician. Yes. Oh, I love that. The Magician is the perfect antidote to any kind of like hopelessness or confusion that you might feel. The Magician card is saying that you literally have everything that you need right here, right now, today, to start manifesting all of this juicy, amazing potential. You have everything you need. You don't need more experience, you don't need another certification, you don't need more qualifications, you don't need to buy anything. Like, all of that stuff will happen naturally as you live life, right? But in order to start realizing and your potential in the physical, there's nothing stopping you but you. That's it. The Magician is asking you to be a conduit for your own potential. It wants to come through you in more, I'm hearing harmonious ways. I don't know what that means. in more profound ways, in more substantial ways. The Empress. This was also Virgo's advice. The Empress. I mean, that's literally everything that I just said. I will tell you exactly what I told Virgo. You are a channel. You are a conduit. You are called to create something. I don't know what that is. Only you know what that is. It could be anything. That means you can't stay in the palace of potentials. You have to take real, concrete, practical action in order to create the proper containment through which your potential can flow into the physical and manifest in really substantial ways. Big ways. Big ways. It's almost like you need to get out of the way of that which wants to come through you so that it can do and be what it wants to do and be, right? You are just the channel. You are the conduit, the chosen conduit, right? Interesting. Whew. All right. Well, Taurus, this was really interesting. I hope that it was helpful or at least thought provoking. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. You know I would love to hear from you, and I will see you in the next reading. Bye.